And you pronounce it Nelligan?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we got your name. We're all set with that.
Yep.
First off, by starting out, I guess just telling us how you're feeling today.
Okay. Today, obviously, I'm a whole bunch of emotions. I just want everyone to know, first and foremost, the way I look on the media, I was not saying anything towards the media. It was towards a different person who's in the courtroom. But the biggest thing I want to get out there is that I never rubbed anything, any type of heroin, fentanyl, whatever, on my daughter's gums. Her father states that I did these things, this heinous crime, and he watched me do it. Then why didn't he stop it? And also, he's been messaging me all day. I brought these down to Detective Brock. The messages are, I didn't know it was him because it was a new phone number, so I answered it when it came in my phone, and I picked it up, and as soon as I knew it was him, I said, "You did that recording," and I hung up. That's all I said. And I told Detective Brock that I did that, and he said that was fine. He called you, don't ever answer it again. So he took the messages, he took his phone and took pictures of all these messages. These messages are from Shane Smith to me saying, "If you actually think I would ever say that to the detectives, babe, I guess you don't know me at all. There is no recording, nice try. You never hurt Jordan, but don't worry, I live in New Hampshire. Oh, excuse me. Don't worry. I'm in New Hampshire living now. I love you and miss you so much. For you to believe that is so messed up. You have the no contact, boo, not me. I'm living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Kim. I'm living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Kim, I already filed a complaint against the detectives. I never said that. I love you very much. Guess this is goodbye. You promised me you were sober and you got caught with drugs. I want to say something real quick. The drugs I got caught with, that charge is going to be amended or taken off because one of them was Seroquel, one of them was mirtazapine, and they were in my Tylenol bottle, and the other thing was marijuana, and I have medical marijuana, and the other two are prescriptions too. As soon as I can verify that charge will be taken off. But this is what he said. He said, "You better stay sober for once, and you're really with Shannon. What a joke. When you have your man, better be good, and by the way, I'm allowed to contact you all I want. You promised me you were sober and you got caught with drugs. Why? I was so proud of you. I love you. I want you. I don't understand what he's saying here, but it says, I want you, can't me. But you're my wife. I won't put you in jail. So I found out you went on a date to a Sea Dog with another guy. Wow, you really can't be faithful. Well, I'm here. I'll be back in Maine in a few days. I got a 2-bedroom apartment, a half hour from Bangor, baby girl. I hope you come stay with me. I need you. I miss you. I love you. Well, I have no service where I am down here. Contact me through Messenger, my love. Be good. Stop getting high on benzos. I'm so upset you got caught. You got caught a drug charge. Kim, you know me. I'm your husband, and I love you so very much."
You're married to him?
No. No, ma'am, I am not married, and I want to make that statement, too. I am not married at all. No. But that should just, I know it's not going to erase any of this. I know that.
Sorry, if you could just start over with that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know this is not going to erase my name through anything, and I understand that because I had suspicion that Shane was using drugs, and I allowed him to be around his daughter for the last 2 months of her life. I didn't see him use drugs, but I had a suspicion he was. I am going to admit this. Hold on, I want to make sure I say it right. Where is it? It's hard to understand. Okay, right here. I did have an indiscretion and use twice, yes, on September. Yes, one time in September and then one time after she passed away. If I did such a heinous crime, I'm sorry to say this on the media, but if I did such a heinous crime when I got home from the hospital, I would have killed myself. There's no doubt about it because who can actually live with themselves for doing something like that? Rubbing heroin on a child's gums isn't accidental. There's no accidental about that, okay? I never rubbed heroin on my daughter's gums. I'm paying for a lie detector test. I'm getting one done within the next week so people can see I'm not lying. I never did any of the above to my child.
So do you believe that Shane told officers, there's an affidavit, he told officers that you did that because he was trying to cover up the fact that...
He did something. I really believe it. Because how can he be so direct, you know what I mean? Like say I rubbed something on my child's gums and he watched me do it. How many times did he say? 15, I think that's what was said. Then why didn't he stop me any of those 15 times? any of them. Say, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to say I gave it to my other 2 kids. Well, that's why they're gonna investigate that, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be getting hair follicle from the other 2 kids to see if what he's saying is correct.
In the meantime, you have to abide by the judge
Yep.
who told you that you can't have unsupervised contact with any minors under
Yes.
18, which
Yes.
includes your
2 children who are living with their dad.
So what has that been like for you?
Horrible, because they're the only things that kept me strong through this whole thing of losing her. And I want to make it clear too, I had another child that died back in 2006 that had nothing to do with anything other than the fact it was a birth defect. I knew I was going to Maine Medical Center to deliver a baby that was not going to be, would take one breath and die. I got a test called amniocentesis when I was 6.5 months pregnant, and they did a big needle in my belly, and they found out that my AFP test, which is the amniocentesis, was 17. It's not supposed to be above 2 or under 2. If it's under 2, it's a birth defect. If it's 17, or if it's above 2, if it's under 2, it's Down syndrome. If it's above 2, it's a birth defect. Mine was 17. So they sent me right to Portland Memorial Hospital, did a 3D ultrasound, found out that she was not going to make it, that no surgery could make it better because they didn't catch it in time. If they would have caught it in time, she could have had an in utero surgery, but they didn't catch it in time. So pretty much with her stomach being born on the outside, her organs got like pretty much kind of like radiation, and her organs were just way too big. They couldn't do anything to save her life. So she died pretty much right when she was born.
I'm so sorry. That must have been god-awful.
Yeah, very, yeah.
If you don't mind telling me, was that the first child that you had, or what was the
No, I have a 16-year-old boy. I have Mercedes, who is the one who passed away. She would be 13. I have my 7-year-old, my 3-year-old, and I have Jordan, who today is exactly 11 months that she's been gone.
So you have 3 children that are alive and 2 that are deceased.
Yes.
And you have to live with that every day.
Yep, but I know I did nothing to either one of them at all. And all I can do is do everything I can to prove to everybody that I did nothing to hurt this little girl. I am at fault for allowing her dad around her, and I shouldn't have, and I know that. And the hospital, my daughter was a very sick baby. She was born at 27 weeks and 6 days. She had a stroke inside my womb due to her father. He beat me up and he brutally raped me when I was 9 weeks pregnant, and he made a hematoma hemorrhage in front of Jordan. I was bleeding out blood clots as big as your head, my head, from 24 weeks was the first time I got brought to the hospital by ambulance. It was such a really drastic scene. The EMTs took my broom handle and went into the toilet to see if Jordan was in there, because they really thought I lost her then. But I didn't. I was very lucky to not lose her. They did an emergency C-section when I went to the hospital the very last time, because Shane just walked in from work and he went into the room to take a shower in my hospital room, and I said to the nurse to get down, down there, that I felt her coming out. It was a 3-pound, 6-ounce blood clot. So they brought me down to the OR immediately. My daughter was 1 pound, 13 ounces when she was born. That blood clot was bigger than her.
So she was like your miracle.
She was, and I saved her life 4 times too, and that's all on documentation that I saved her life. At Penobscot Pediatrics, she coded out, I'm the one that started CPR, not the nurse. The nurse ran out and got help before she started CPR on my child, who just coded out. She just was laying there fine and just stopped breathing. And they said they thought it might have been something called blind seizures, because they thought it was SIDS at first, because she coded out the first time at 2 months old. We just got back from Walmart, and I heard her go like that, and I looked down, and she was like blue, like as blue as your shirt almost. And so I had my goddaughter call 911 as I started CPR on my child. And when the first responders got there, they wouldn't even take over. They said I had a great CPR rhythm. They did not want her to not make it, so they kept me doing it. So we stayed at the hospital for the NIC unit stay, the NIC unit stay, pediatric ICU stay, for 3 stays on the pediatric ICU, and then we got transferred to the peds floor, like once we were there for a little while. But I made it so her father couldn't go there at all. It was by mother's consent, because when we were in the NIC unit, he went home to Ranger Inn, and I went to the Ronald McDonald house, and I woke up to him standing over my bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was threatening my life, all kinds of stuff. He was all messed up on methamphetamines. I ran to the hospital to get to with the security guards. They called the police. You know, throughout Jordan's entire life, her father was barely ever there, other than the last 2 months of her life. He spent every day with her, every day, all day with her. He was there 20 minutes before she went to bed. About 20 minutes before she went to bed, he pulled out of my parking lot. And he was in the parking lot with my daughter, with Jordan, by herself, while I was inside getting the other 2 kids to bed. Then I went outside, got Jordy, brought her inside, and I put her to bed on my chest and put her in her bassinet. And my son woke up at about, I think it was 10:42 or 10:45, I don't know, whatever the time is when I called 911. My son woke me up about 30 seconds prior to when I called 911, saying he wanted a sippy cup. And I sat up and I looked at the time, and I knew. Something just told me something was wrong, because the last 6 weeks of her life, she was always up every 20 minutes because her belly hurt a lot. So I would give her melatonin to help her gas drops to help her, that the doctors prescribed her, and they prescribed the melatonin too. Which, yes, you can get it prescribed and you can buy it over the counter too, but it is safe to give to your kids. And then the Tylenol I had to give her too. Tylenol, ibuprofen, I would go, and Motrin, well, not and Motrin, but you know, it was either Tylenol and Motrin or Tylenol and ibuprofen. You know, you can go back and forth with them. And so.
And that's when you called.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry. That's when I called 911.
I guess I want to go into your video post after you got out yesterday.
Okay.
Addressing some of the woman in the courtroom, maybe,
yep.
Or some of the things that you were feeling.
Yeah, yep.
Who was that woman?
That's Diana Obert. That is supposed to be somebody who is supposed to be my best friend. And obviously you can see she wasn't. And it's just crazy because the detectives interrogated her, and they use these exact words. Do you think Miss Nelligan would ever give her child anything that she's not supposed to give her child? And she then quoted to them, to Detective Brock and Detective Brian Smith, Detective Jeremy Brock and Detective Brian Smith, she then told them, no, I do not think for 1 second she would ever hurt her little girl. Not for 1 second. And if you have anything else to talk to me about, I'll contact a lawyer and you can talk to me then. Because she said that's when her 10-year-old son and her realized what they were trying to say about me, trying to act like I did something to hurt Jordan. And she said, no, she did not say that. And Detective, like I said, Detective Jeremy Brock and Detective Brian Smith heard her say it. She said it right to them. So, you know, I understand everyone's feelings are really up and down right now. I totally understand that. I don't blame anybody for the way they feel. Not at all. I don't think any of you are wrong for how you feel. I just think you're wrong to think that I actually did that. Because I didn't do that to my little girl. I did not do that to her. I wish I could look at you all in your face and tell you I know exactly what happened to her. I could tell you what I think. I think that her father had everything to do with this. And I can't understand why anybody would take his word into consideration that it's even true. Because look what he did today, for instance, sitting there telling me how much he loves me, all this stuff, you know, through text messages. I didn't hurt Jordan, but he went and had a recording testament, or whatever, testimony, or whatever you want to call it, that I did do something to my child. Then, you know, at that point, then why didn't he stop me? If I did something to hurt her, why the hell didn't he stop me then? And see, why would Shane be there? You know what I mean? Like, why would he be there? You're gonna see it all over the news. He wanted to be there because he's obsessed with me, okay? Anybody that knows Shane knows he was so jealous of his own child, because she took all my pain, all of my time up. She took all my time up. So he was extremely jealous of his own kid, just like he was extremely jealous of my other 2 children. Okay, because he did not like it if I didn't sleep in bed with him. He didn't like it if I had to get up numerous times for the kids, this and that. It was always about him, always. He never for 1 second looked at me and said, oh, I think you hurt Jordan. Never. He never said that to my face. And today, he still is saying he never said that. But as I said before, I heard it myself. I heard him say what he said. He can try to say he didn't say it, but he did.
People who are writing things online, if anything.
Really, you're not doing anything to help the situation at all. If you guys really care about Jordan, you'll realize that Jordan loved me more than she loved anybody in the world. And you'll realize that if this little girl can see what's happening, she would be heartbroken. Her whole life revolved around me. And I should have never let her father around her, and believe me, I regret that for the rest of my life. I will never forgive myself for that, ever. But I can promise the world that if I hurt her, I would have killed myself that night. I hate saying those words because I don't want my kids to ever think I'm gonna do that. But I would have killed myself because I could never live with myself if I did something like that. There's no anything, oh, I gave it to her because of pain, for what he's saying. There's no way I would give a child something like that for pain, okay? Fentanyl, it would kill me, okay? Let alone a little tiny baby who's never had that when she was in the hospital. She did have fentanyl one time, dispensed by the hospital, obviously, because she had surgery. But, well, it wasn't so much surgery, it was a spinal tap, and that poor little girl was in so much pain. So they gave her a little bit of synthetic fentanyl, I guess is morphine or whatever, but they said synthetic fentanyl. And to help her, they put her to sleep so that way they could do it because they thought that she had it starts with an M. Is it measles or, yeah, I think it was measles. But they did do they do spinal taps to that?
I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, it starts with an M. I don't.
So what you're saying is she's had a synthetic form of something that killed her once before, dispensed by the doctor, to your knowledge.
Yeah, to my knowledge, when she was in the NICU, the pediatric ICU.
But there's no way that could have had anything to do with what happened.
Oh, no, because I was at pediatric ICU, and that was, I think they did that the second time we came in. Yeah, the second time we came in, so we were home after we left the hospital the first time, we were home for 5 days, and that's when we went to we went to PCHC, and she coded out at PCHC. And that's when they called the ambulance, and we went by ambulance there. But the night that she did pass away, me and the officer were right behind the ambulance, and the ambulance pulled over on State Street, and they were there for a whole whopping 4 minutes. Why? I don't know why. I still can't understand why they would be on the side of the road for 4 minutes when those 4 minutes could have been crucial for my daughter. So I don't know. I don't know why they did that. And they still haven't told me why, but I don't know if they have to.
So you're saying there's still some unanswered questions?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yep. And I already called the hospital. I talked to, yep.
Apologies.
It's okay. I went to Eastern Maine Medical Center, I didn't go there. I called there this morning to see if I could get my daughter's medical records dispensed to me. So they are doing that at the moment, and they'll be sent to me because nobody knows about Jordan's life at all, like how much she had such a hard life, like with medical issues. Nobody's seen any of that at all. But no medical issues ever in the world would ever lead me to giving my child fentanyl. Ever. There's no chance that I would ever do that to my child, and the only way I can prove myself is to continue doing what I'm doing, get my drug screenings approved. I was not intoxicated at all when I went to jail. I was not, and I got a drug test when I went to jail. I was not on influence at all. Not at all. Methadone and medical marijuana. I have a prescription for medical marijuana. That's all I pissed dirty for was medical marijuana and methadone. That's it. Nothing else is in my system but my psych meds. Obviously, they can't see that unless they were like benzos or something. But I haven't failed for anything since the day I walked into the Metro Clinic. I know it hasn't been that long. It's been about 4 months there. But before that, when I was at Discovery House, I didn't fail for anything other than that time in October. Was the last time I failed for anything. Have I used recreational? Yeah.
Yep. And what made you want to get clean?
My kids. Yeah. I've been clean. I've been in the methadone clinic for 8 years straight and 11 years on and off. So, but I have never missed a day at the clinic, ever, other than yesterday, of course. I am compliant with all my treatment stuff. My counselor is getting all my drug screenings, all my treatment stuff, everything. I am going to get a psych evaluation done today at Acadia Hospital. You know, I'm trying to do everything I can. There's no way I can stay positive in this situation, but I'm just trying and hoping that people will start seeing that there is more to this story than people think.
What was she like?
Her nickname was Princess Monster. She loved to growl. That little girl growled all the time. She was nothing but fun. She was an amazing little girl. She had a lot of health issues. Yes, she did. In the last 6 weeks of her life, I did bring her to the doctors, the hospital, numerous times, begging them to listen to me telling them that something was wrong with her spleen. Well, I didn't say her spleen, I said her stomach. It ended up leading to, I guess there was a problem with her spleen. I'm not sure exactly what it was because I don't have the medical records, but they said that her spleen was, people are trying to tell me that they said her spleen was crushed. They told me to my face that her spleen had a nick in it from CPR when the hospital did CPR last. They think that maybe her ribs got broken that way or something, but the medical examiner said that she didn't see any signs of the baby even having a bruise on her, let alone anything. So
What do you want people to know?
that I did not hurt my daughter at all. I did not hurt that little girl. I loved her more than anything. Like, I don't want to say that I loved her more than my other kids, but me and her had a connection that I never had with my other kids. I never had a C-section with my other kids. I never stayed in the hospital for all the times like I did with my other kids. I wanted her to live more than anybody in the world. And I swear to God, I really did try. But I guess I should have tried harder. I just regret bringing her father back in her life. I regret that more than anything in the world.
Is there anything else you want to tell us?
No.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, for taking the time to talk to us.
Of course.
We really appreciate it.